Think you've got the subjunctive mood in Spanish all figured out? Perhaps you've heard that it's used for hypothetical situations. But wait a minute. You came across a sentence like, veremos una película cuando termine mis tareas. We'll watch a film when I finish my homework. And you find yourself asking, what's hypothetical about it? Here's the twist. It's not just about the unlikely or imaginary. Hello everyone and welcome back to Fluency Rocks. I'm Carolina, your teacher from Colombia, and today we'll explore strategies for understanding the subjunctive mood that go beyond the typical hypothetical situations framework. This is actually my second video about the subjunctive. So, if you are new to the basics or curious about the conjugations, check out the video I made about that. The link is here. As always, I've created a story to showcase the uses of the present subjunctive in action, and there's homework to reinforce your understanding. So, without further ado, let's dive right in. Doubt and probability. We use the present subjunctive in Spanish to show uncertainty and to suggest the likelihood of something happening in the present or in the future. This is done with adverbs like posiblemente, possibly, quizás or quizá, maybe, perhaps, tal vez, maybe, probablemente, probably, and other subjunctive triggers. By the way, a trigger is a certain word or expression that requires the subjunctive mood following it. In Spanish, we call them detonantes. Let's see some examples. Posiblemente vayamos a Los Ángeles la próxima semana. We'll possibly go to Los Angeles next week. Quizás Manuel pida una pizza a domicilio. Perhaps Manuel will order a pizza for delivery. Tal vez los niños jueguen en el parque esta tarde. Maybe the kids will play in the park this afternoon. Probablemente encuentres un mejor trabajo en otra ciudad. You'll probably find a better job in another city. Giving opinions. If we want to make a negative assumption about the probability of an event in the present or in the future, we use trigger expressions such as no plus creer que, no plus pensar que, no plus parecer que, no plus considerar que. However, if we want to give our opinion and the statement is affirmative, we don't need the subjunctive mood. For those, we use the indicative instead. All those expressions that I just mentioned are used when we want to give our opinion about something. So, if we say no creo que or no pienso que, it means I don't think that, and when we say no me parece que, it means it doesn't seem to me that. Lastly, no considero que means I don't consider that. Of course, in English you can leave out the word that, but in Spanish the word que is a must in these expressions. Now, let's compare the negative trigger with its affirmative counterpart. No creo que debas salir en la noche. I don't think you should go out in the evening. Here, the verb deber is in the subjunctive, debas, because no creo que is a trigger since it's a negative assumption. Creo que debes salir en la mañana. I think you should go out in the morning. Here, the verb deber is in the plain indicative, debes, because creo que is not a trigger as it's affirmative. We must be careful when we place the negative word after the affirmative expression. For example, creo que no voy a la piscina esta tarde porque estoy cansada. I don't think I'll go to the pool this afternoon because I'm tired. In this case, the subjunctive mood is not required because the negative word no is placed after creo que. We must use the subjunctive only if the negative word goes before creo que, pienso que, and all those expressions. Now, let's take a look at the following examples with the negative triggers. Camila y Juan no creen que Marta vaya a la reunión. Camila and Juan don't think Marta will go to the meeting. No me parece que estemos equivocados. It doesn't seem to me that we are wrong. Andrés no considera que el informe esté correcto. Andrés doesn't think that the report is correct. No pienso que sea necesario hacer tanta comida. I don't think it's necessary to make so much food. No parece que vaya a llover hoy. It doesn't seem like it's going to rain today. Purpose. The present subjunctive is employed to convey purpose, and in such instances we use trigger expressions like para que, so that, con el objetivo de que, with the aim of, con el fin de que, with the goal of, con la idea de que, with the idea of, and other similar triggers. Let's analyze the following examples. Voy a preparar una ensalada de frutas para que tengas algo que comer en la tarde. I'm going to prepare a fruit salad so that you have something to eat in the afternoon. En mi trabajo hay un salón para ver televisión con el objetivo de que los empleados se relajen. At my job, there is a TV lounge with the aim of allowing employees to relax. Roberto le escribió una carta a nuestro jefe con el fin de que nos aumenten el salario a todos. Roberto wrote a letter to our boss with the goal of getting everyone's salary increased. Siempre compramos libros de cuentos con la idea de que el niño se interese por la lectura. We always buy storybooks with the idea of getting the child interested in reading. Requests, commands, and advice. In Spanish, we turn to the present subjunctive when we want to suggest something, make requests, or give commands, like when we are using the imperative mood. The common verbs that are used in this case are ordenar, to order, prohibir, to forbid, repetir, to repeat, aconsejar, to advise, decir, to say, pedir, to ask for something, exigir, to demand. Let's illustrate this with some examples. Les prohíbo que patinen dentro del apartamento. I forbid you all to skate inside the flat. Te aconsejo que aceptes esa oferta de trabajo. I advise you to accept that job offer. Le ordeno que salga de mi oficina. I order you to leave my office. Normalmente les pido que me llamen en la noche. I normally ask them to call me at night. Siempre le digo que prepare comidas sencillas. I always tell him to prepare simple meals. Le exijo que me entregue las llaves del carro. I demand you to give me the car keys. Le repito que venga más temprano. I repeat, come earlier. Hey there! If you are thinking about how you can back this channel and what I do, it's simple. You can show your support by buying me a coffee. That keeps my creativity flowing and lets me bring you even more awesome videos. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell. That way you won't miss out on any of the fantastic content I've got in store for you. Your support truly means everything to me. Now, back to our topic. Desires, feelings, and tastes. The subjunctive mood can also be used to express feelings, tastes, and desires, with verbs such as gustar, to like, preferir, to prefer, querer, to want, lamentar, to be sorry, sentir, to feel, desear, to wish, esperar, to hope, to expect, to wait for, intentar, to try to do something, necesitar, to need. For example, me gusta que Arturo venga todos los días. I like that Arturo comes every day. Ana prefiere que hables con el abogado mañana. Ana prefers you to talk to the lawyer tomorrow. Lamentamos que hayas reprobado el examen. We are sorry that you failed the exam. Espero que Martín haga las tareas temprano. I hope Martín does his homework early. Ustedes necesitan que Mariana entregue los documentos pronto. You all need Mariana to deliver the documents soon. Ellas quieren que les arregles el carro esta tarde. They want you to fix their car this afternoon. Future. If a sentence has two parts and one action depends on the other happening first, the action that needs to happen first goes into the subjunctive mood. Maybe it sounds tricky, but trust me, it's simpler than you think. In this situation, we often use trigger expressions that have a meaning similar to cuando, when, and most of them can also be translated as soon as. We can switch them around in many cases. The first one is, of course, cuando, and then we have en cuanto, a lo que, apenas, tan pronto como, and una vez que. There might be more similar expressions, but these are the usual suspects. Let's clarify this with some examples. Vamos a salir cuando llegue Carmen. We are going out when Carmen arrives. Apenas estén listas las papas, servimos la cena. As soon as the potatoes are ready, we'll serve dinner. A lo que termine de estudiar, veremos la película. As soon as I finish studying, we'll watch the movie. En cuanto llame tu hermano, salimos a caminar un rato. As soon as your brother calls, we'll go for a walk. Avísame tan pronto como recibas el email de la universidad. Let me know as soon as you get the email from the university. Una vez que escriba el ebook, lo anuncio en mi canal de YouTube. Once I write the ebook, I will announce it on my YouTube channel. As you could see, in some of the previous examples, we used the simple present to talk about the near future, because that's very common in Spanish and it sounds more natural. But you can also conjugate the verbs in the simple future or use the formula ir conjugated plus a plus infinitive, which is translated into English as to be going to do something. Let's compare the different conjugations the verb salir has in the following examples. Salimos cuando llegue Carmen. Simple present. Vamos a salir cuando llegue Carmen. Ir plus a plus infinitive. Saldremos cuando llegue Carmen. Simple future. All these sentences convey the same idea. We are going out when Carmen arrives. Generally, though not always, when the likelihood of an event is very high, we prefer to use the simple present. If the probability is moderate, we often use the ir plus a plus infinitive structure. When the chances are not as high, we opt for conjugating the verb in the simple future. It's important to note that these distinctions aren't always clear-cut. Is cuando always a subjunctive trigger? You might be wondering if the word cuando always triggers the subjunctive mood. Well, the answer is no. And what's the difference, you might ask? In the previous examples, we learned when cuando triggers the subjunctive mood. However, when we want to talk about routine actions in the present or in the past, we use the indicative. For example, a veces cenaba tarde cuando tenía que estudiar para un examen. Sometimes I had a late dinner when I had to study for an exam. Cuando viajo siempre llevo una maleta pequeña. When I travel, I always take a small suitcase. Me siento muy feliz cuando escucho música. I feel very happy when I listen to music. Other triggers. There are also other phrases and expressions that trigger the subjunctive mood, such as antes de que, sin que, después de que, siempre y cuando, hasta que no, mientras, aunque, a pesar de que, por más que, como, de modo que, ojalá que, and many others. I plan to cover these triggers in future videos, but now let's see a few examples. Compraré la casa siempre y cuando tenga un patio grande. I'll buy the house as long as it has a big yard. No iremos al parque hasta que no recojas los juguetes. We won't go to the park until you pick up the toys. Ojalá que Rafael compre el pan cuando salga del trabajo. I hope Rafael buys bread when he gets off work. Awesome! Now, let's see the present subjunctive in Spanish in real-life situations. Watch how native Spanish speakers use it in their daily lives. La cena de Enrique y Laura. Enrique y Laura estaban planeando una cena para sus amigos. Quizás pida los ingredientes online con el fin de que no falte ninguno que sea indispensable, ya que en la tienda online hay más variedad y es probable que en el supermercado no haya todos los ingredientes que necesitamos, dijo Enrique. Entonces Laura contesta: no me parece que debamos depender completamente de esa tienda online. Pídeles que traigan todo temprano para tener tiempo suficiente para preparar todo y comprar en el supermercado cualquier cosa que haga falta. Tienes razón. Necesitamos que todo esté listo antes de que lleguen los invitados. Ojalá que todo nos quede delicioso. Laura, cambiando de tema, comenta: ayer cuando hablé con Antonio me dijo: prefiero que hagan una torta de chocolate, pues es la especialidad de Enrique y hace mucho tiempo que no la como. Enrique estuvo de acuerdo y se acordó de Roxana, que es alérgica al chocolate. ¿Y qué postre hacemos para Roxana? Te aconsejo que prepares un pudín de vainilla, pues es muy fácil de hacer y a Roxana le fascina. Sin embargo, será mejor que hagas suficiente porque ese es el postre favorito de Arturo. Sí, es verdad. Voy a preparar suficiente para todos los que quieran. Por cierto, ayer me dijiste que querías preparar tofu, pero no creo que sea buena idea porque a Ricardo no le gusta. Cierto, había olvidado eso. En ese caso, voy a hacer unas papas en la freidora de aire para que queden crujientes como a todos nos gustan. Estupendo. Entonces, en cuanto termines de hacer las papas y cuando esté horneada la torta, empezamos a hacer el helado. ¿Qué te parece? Me parece genial, pues Pablo siempre me pide que haga helado de vainilla. Además, pienso preparar unas milanesas con carne vegetal y la ensalada favorita de Pedro. ¡Excelente! Espero que todo salga perfecto y que todo el mundo quede satisfecho. Y así, con dedicación y cuidado, Enrique y Laura comenzaron a preparar una cena espectacular para sus amigos. There you go, a story showcasing how we use the subjunctive mood in everyday Spanish. Now, for your homework, I'd like you to drop a sentence in the comments using the present subjunctive. I'll be right there to assist you and polish each of your sentences. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for notifications. And feel free to leave your suggestions for future videos in the comments. I love hearing from you and knowing what topics you are interested in. If you're excited to dive deeper into Spanish, be sure to check out my video titled "What's the present subjunctive in Spanish?" with a dialogue. It's full of useful tips to help you grasp and use the present subjunctive in everyday situations. Click here to watch it and keep rocking your language learning goals.